How are you guys doing today? Or actually, good morning. It's a morning, afternoon. You know me. I'm not with it yet today. So good morning to everybody. I was going to try to find a picture to put up while we were talking in the beginning, but I couldn't be. I wasn't that fast, so I'm just gonna grab a picture really quick. Let me see. This would work. That way it's not just me on the screen. How is everybody doing this morning? Hopefully you guys are all well. Oh, I forgot to take the spoon out of my hot chocolate this morning. So, you know, I'm a little off. My cup says, though, beauty has no skin tone, and I think that's really cute. We got some new people, it looks like. So welcome to the channel. How is everybody? Hopefully everybody's having a great morning. Either if you're at home, hanging out, relaxing, cleaning, or you're at work, you know, doing the Monday. Was it Monday already? Yeah, it is. Monday grind. I don't even know what day it is, guys. I'm doing good, Crime with Kay. Hi, everybody. Hi, Isabel. Let me say hello to Hi, Sugar and Spice. Hello, everybody. I had some people, so I had two lives scheduled, one for today and one for tomorrow. I was trying to be like ahead of the game. And with doing that, some of you guys were waiting, I think, in the other chat. So I just wanted to make sure like nobody's just hanging out over there. Well, mine's saying I'm not even live, so let's see. Maybe I need to refresh. Freezing cold in North Florida. What's the weather like there? What's freezing to you guys? My cousin lives down there, and we're from Philly, so she could take the cold. But I have an aunt that also lives down there, and then another aunt and uncle. So I have some family in Florida. I need to go to visit them. It's so nice and warm down there and tropical. Okay, there's this one. I just want to make sure nobody's like waiting in the other. I don't even see it up here now, so. Okay, I'm going to mute it really quick, and I'm going to see if I can get the people to come over here. I think there's a few people waiting. Hell, I don't know if that made any sense, but I tried. It looks like there's like a few people over there, so I just wanted to try to get them to come over here. So we are trying to reach 5,000 subscribers / Titans. We are going to do a giveaway. I had everything wrote down. Let me see. I must have had an extra paper. You know, it's Monday. I was writing notes last night. Oh yeah, would you looky there? I think I wrote out like 3 pages. So we are doing a cash giveaway. Once we hit 5,000 subscribers, we're almost there. We need under 100. So if you guys like true crime and you want to subscribe to the channel, we would love to have you. Once we hit the 5,000 subscribers, it says, oh yeah, so I'm going to post, and so once we hit the 5,000 subscriber mark, I'm going to post a short video telling you guys like how to enter. Basically, you're just going to comment under one of the videos, hashtag giveaway. That way I can get a generator to generate and pick the name at random, because 5,000 people, I can't pick that name at random. That would be a lot of writing some names out. So we are doing a live count, and right now we are at 4932. I do have a subscriber only mode in the chat, but that's only because of bots and spam and all of that stuff. So it's no duration. You could be a subscriber for any duration, be able to chat with us. We'd love to have you before we get started. What did they say? What was the weather? I didn't check. I didn't see that part. Warm here in Alaska, 0. Ooh. 60 degrees. Oh, man. Southwest Florida feels like freezing to me. Oh yeah, I would probably, if I lived in Florida, that'd probably be pretty cold. But 60 degrees in Ohio, you have on flip-flops or sandals, shorts, t-shirt. You're doing it. You're doing summer big when it's 60 here. Oh, rainy day in beautiful Minnesota. Oh, I've never been to Minnesota. Okay, so I'm going to share this one with you here. Myrtle Beach. Oh, you guys are like, I love it. I love it. 63 where you're at, Crime Sleuthin'. That's a good temperature to have. What's it here? It's at 34 degrees. It's freezing. I'm extremely lucky that my boyfriend takes the dogs out way more than I do. He because we have to walk our animals. Okay, so we have 2 dogs and we have to walk them because we live in an apartment on the 2nd story, so there's no way for us to just like let them, out back. But one day we will have a house, I pray. But so he's been taking them out and it's been great. You're in Ohio too? I saw in Ohio. Terry Lewis is in Ohio. Yeah, it's cold. It's cold here today. I don't like it. 37 North Idaho. It's probably freezing in Idaho. Man, it's probably real cold. But 37 is not too bad. I mean, 30, I don't know, closer to 40 I can work with. So I wanted to show you this. I've been wanting to show you this 3D model of the house for, I swear, like a week now. And we've been so busy doing other things that I haven't had a chance to really show you guys. So I figured I would show you guys this, and then we would watch we'll watch the Nany Grace podcast. And then also tomorrow I do have my, I usually go live throughout the week. It was around 9, but we're going to do it at 10:15 Monday through Friday throughout the week. Sometimes I come on later in the night also. So if there's any news throughout the day, I make a video. So have you guys seen this before? Good morning. I'll be opening the window as soon as it hits like 68. Yes. That sounds like me. But I listen to some 80s. Me and my mom used to listen to the 70s when we would clean her house. Jam out. Oh my Lord. So there's like certain songs I'll hear and it takes me back to that, that spot. Very fun times. We would annoy the neighbors, I'm sure too. We didn't care though. So this is this website is called Kahlua. I'm not exactly sure who put this whole thing together. But I've seen I saw one other creator using it. I'm trying to think of her name. She's a really big creator. She has like 1 million subscribers. I can't think of her name though. But I saw her using it in one of her videos and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so interesting. So basically this website is Kahlua, so Kuula. And you can just do like a walkthrough of the house. It gives you different information on, the homes around it, from the affidavit pages. It literally is, it's like a little gold mine. What is this? All the drone, so these are drone photos. I'll play this, or I'll just like look at these. We can look at these. It gives you a really good sense of like, I wish somebody would have done this in the beginning of the case, but I mean, they probably wouldn't have been able to get it exactly like it is. But it's really dead on. And then you can just like go through the pictures. I don't know why I always thought that couch was out further. Does anyone know, and it doesn't, I mean, not like this doesn't matter to the case or anything, but does anybody know what this little, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's beside the chair on the bottom. It's like, looks like it has like bars on it. Like, I don't know what that is. Is it like a game? One of his high school friends went on live last night and shared old Skype screenshots she had taken of him and her video chatting. Who was it? Of who? Like, are you talking about of Bryan? Okay, so now I have a question. Someone in the chat the other night said that the officers put the chairs in the door there, because remember I've been stuck on the chairs on the door, like in between the door there for like ever. So basically, if you're just, I'm going to start kind of over because it looks like we have some more people in. So if you're just now joining us, we are going over the Idaho Four case. We are going to watch the Nany Grace podcast here soon. We are going over a 3D image of the house. It gives you like in-depth tour and it has a ton of information. It is Kahlua.com, and I think you just go in and you can maybe type in the address. And then, so let me see here. So it doesn't look like they took the door handle off because the door handle is still on, was what I was getting at there. So in this picture, they have the chairs there. Someone had said in the chat maybe they had put the chairs there because they had taken the door handle off in the back, but they didn't do that. Hey, SRB. If you guys are now just joining us, thank you so much for joining me for a little bit of your day. I really appreciate that. If you could like the video on your way in, much appreciated. If you're into true crime, we're here every day at 10:15. Sometimes we're here at night as well to talk true crime. So if that's something that you're into, we would love for you to subscribe. Once we hit 5,000 subscribers, we are going to do our next cash giveaway. So I can't wait. And I'm going to drop the link for the to join our membership in the chat really quick. Okay, so then it just says these pictures here. It's a really good site. There's actually a lot of pictures on here that I've never seen. I'm not really sure what that's a picture of. Unless it's supposed to be of, the wall there. And then that's all that's in there. But yeah, it just gives you like, sorry, like little pictures. This one was taken 11/26. Oh, I already pushed that. Okay. So now we'll go in. Or with satellite view. Oh, yeah. This is the satellite view of the house. It's very interesting, I feel like. And then you can enter the house here. So this would have been Dylan's old bedroom. And this would have been Bethany's room. And then, yeah, so I just like clicked on that. I don't know if you saw what I did, but oops. Let me go back. Actually, let me go back to here. I was going to show you these first. Sorry, guys, I forgot. I wanted to show you the blueprints of the house first. So this just kind of shows you what's going on in the house. If you guys had any questions or anything. And if you have any questions, let me know in the chat and I can try to answer them for you. But this was the blueprint. And this is the second floor. And then this is the third floor. Oops. Hey, maybe. Okay, so we'll just go, where are we at? Right here, okay. I am not the greatest at navigating these kind of sites, guys, so sorry about that. So it says suspect legal. The legal process will cost an estimated of $10 million. I'm not sure where they got that estimate from because it's a lot of money. And I thought I don't know if you guys are familiar with this case, but the Roden Wagner case, it was like the new Hatfield McCoys. I did a story on it down in Piketon, Ohio. I think that one family ended up going and killing another family of 8 people. And I think that it was like $2 million for that case. So, and they had 4 suspects and then 8 victims. So I don't know. I wonder where the $10 million came from, but that's a lot. That's a lot of money. Oh, thank you so much for the super sticker. Which says, don't you think they're trying to over sexualize these dead kids? Say for Xana, it just feels odd to me. Well, we try not to at all here. Actually, we don't at all. But I do feel like there are a lot of channels that are over, that are like in the beginning of the case, they were saying that some of the girls had an OnlyFans, and I'm like, that was uncalled for, and I don't believe that they did, and even if they did, it didn't matter. It doesn't matter in this case. Do you know what I mean? It was like so. But and as for Xana, she's so pretty. She was so pretty. She just has the like most genuine eyes to me. Like she's just a genuine person. So yeah, we definitely try not to. Oh, SRB, you've been a member for a month now. It doesn't come up on the on this side. I don't know why, but it only comes up on my like iPad. Thank you so much for being a member for 1 month. I love that. Yeah, victim blaming. Yeah, there was a lot of people I felt like they did that, and that's like uncalled for, you know? They were, and maybe it's because these girls were so beautiful, and people were jealous and they wanted to say those kind of things. But I was like, I wasn't into that. I'm not into that. I really try to not really judge anyone. I mean, Bryan on one hand, you kind of can't help but to judge him. He looks pretty guilty. Although he hasn't been to trial yet, he looks pretty guilty. And then if you look at these here, so this is like his first court appearance. And let me know if anyone hasn't seen any of these before. And so then the second, and then this will be his next. This was just here for whenever it becomes. And then the suspect discovery request, which I was going to go over this tomorrow, I think, before we do our podcast tomorrow. And it's just a request for discovery for evidence that the whatever the prosecution has, the defense wants to have it. That way they can pick it apart, which makes total sense. And then this is the 3D virtual tour. This is the one that I was trying to show you on that girl's page. See right here? She did a TikTok, and we were trying to go through them last night, but she didn't have them in order. So I wonder if this one is any better. I'll play this one and see. Because at one point she had Ethan, like on the first or second floor. She had him in another bedroom or something. And I was like, what's going on here? So let's see if that's let's see.
Mates Bethany and Dylan were sleeping on the first floor. Since then, we've learned Dylan was sleeping here on the second floor, along with Xana and Ethan located here. Kaylee and Madison were located here on the third floor. The dog was located on the third floor and the room by itself. Let's move around and see through the walls into the kitchen, to the back slider, and take a look at the time frames. At 4:04 a.m., the suspect can be seen trying to park his car. At 4:09, approximately 5 minutes later, he enters the house through the back slider. At 4:18, he leaves the house after committing the crimes. At 4:20, he's caught on camera driving away at a high rate of speed. All of this only took 9 minutes. Let's watch what that looks like. The suspect enters through the back sliding door. He pauses at the stairs to look around to make sure no one's up. He then turns and goes upstairs. The first bedroom he stops at and opens the door, he sees no one there. He continues to the next bedroom. Here we know what happens. Downstairs, Dylan is sleeping. The noise from upstairs wakes her up. She thinks it's Kaylee playing with her dog. She gets up and goes to the door and looks out. She sees nothing there. The suspect then continues down the stairs about 3 minutes later. He then heads to Xana's room. Outside, there's a security camera picking up some whimpering, cries, and a thud at 4:17. We've learned that Xana was found on the floor, which might explain the thud. Dylan again hears something and looks outside her door. She sees the suspect. He walks right past her and leaves.
Okay. And the suspect, he got there. I did a timeline on it. He got there. I think they saw him on camera at 4:04 a.m. and then leaving at 4:20 a.m. So like altogether, it would have been like 16 minutes if it was 16 minutes. I don't know why it puts me back here every time. And then we'll go up and we'll check out the other spots in the house too. I just wanted to kind of show you guys these things. If this isn't too long, we'll play this one too. And this one is just, the suspect's vehicle. I showed actually Gray Hughes investigates a animation. I think it was last night. Just going to fast forward this a little bit.
If you could hit that like, share, and subscribe button, I would like, share, and subscribe.
I don't think this is going to be very...
Off.
No. I can show you a better one later. There's a better one that he has on his site. I can show you that later. If you guys are just now joining us, we are doing a 3D virtual tour of the Idaho house, where the 4 kids were murdered. Try not to say murder house. I hate saying that word, those words. But we're doing the 3D animation. It's like a little animation video. And it has all kinds of really good information, very helpful information. It's on the Kuula app, Kuula. If you guys want to look it up yourself and kind of go through it yourself, because it's very, very detailed. But we're just doing a kind of one glance over of it so far. And then we're going to talk about, we're going to go ahead and get into the podcast with Nancy. There's Miss Kelly. Where have you been, Miss Kelly? We've been wondering where you've been. I was. So this is the front door of the home. I'll actually go back out since everyone just kind of got here. If it'll let me. Okay. So did Bryan ever try therapy or medications? Mystic Werewolf said. I am not sure. That's something that I don't know. I don't believe that he did. You've been hiding out. Sometimes you need to. Very insightful seeing this. Yeah. It was very creepy. Yeah, and that's what I'm going to show you too. So stick with me because they actually, so this house that they have, it actually, you can see it at night. Like when you walk in here, when you go up the stairs, you can press a little button and you can view it at night. So you'll be able to see Dylan's perspective and what she actually could see and couldn't see. And you can't see anything. So basically, if you're at the front door, this is the front door. That would have been the first bedroom. And that would have been, I haven't written down. It would have been 1B. So this is 1B, Dylan's old bedroom, the one that she moved out of. And then if you go to this side, sorry, I'm not the greatest at this, so bear with me. If you go to this side, this is bedroom 1A, and that's going to be Bethany's room, and she was the other roommate. She's the roommate that survived. And then, let me see how long this is. Okay, so I'll go ahead and play this too, so you guys can get a feel. This is going to be the affidavit, and then we'll go up the stairs.
On November 13, 2022, at approximately 4 p.m., Moscow Police Department Sergeant Blaker and I responded to 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, to assist with scene security and processing of a crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Upon our arrival, the Idaho State Police forensic team was on the scene and was preparing to begin processing the scene. Moscow Police Officer Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk me through the scene.
Okay. So that's too much stuff around my mouse. Okay. So then we'll go upstairs here. Let me see. Oh no, that's inside the Dylan's room. Okay. So then this is going up the stairs. And then I know there's a way to view it at night. I'm trying to see. That's just a picture of the living room. And I think that was off the Zillow app. Okay, so here it is. So that would have been 2B. That would have been Zayna's bedroom, and that would have been where her and Ethan were. Then you have 1B, or I'm sorry, 2A over here, and this is going to be where Dylan was sleeping, this bedroom over in here. And then you got 2B where Zayna and Ethan were sleeping. Now, this is going to be view this location at night. And then this is the latent shoe print that you see from the van shoe. And during the processing of the crime scene, that's when they found that. If you're just now joining us, thank you so much for joining us today. If you guys could hit that thumbs up button, it really does help send it into the algorithm. That way more people can come and enjoy it. Also, if you want to subscribe to the channel, that would be great. As soon as we hit 5,000 subscribers, I'm going to do a short video to tell you how to win our cash giveaway. So right now we are at 49.44. We are so close, guys. I have good faith that we can do this today if everyone just subscribes. If they want to subscribe, though. I don't want you guys to subscribe if you don't want to. So this is the good vibe sign that that you can see. There's the picture from the outside. And then this is going to view it at night. So if you see, you can see the banister like right here. It's just extremely dark. So this would have been what she would have been viewing when he came out. So the only thing the only light she would have been able to have, if her light was turned off in her bedroom, if Dylan's light was turned off, it would be, because like I don't think that Zayna's light, bedroom light, would shine that bright if it was on anyway, would be this good vibe sign. And then we were just by the good vibe sign. And then there's a picture there. Okay, I already showed you that, so. And then we can look at this really quick. This was the TikTok that they made.
God, it smells like dirty dick in here. Murphy, you've been a bad boy. It's 9:10. Guys, can anybody drop me to class? I'm fucking late for my meeting. I'm supposed to be there 10 minutes ago. Did anybody do their chores today? Fuck, I'm just gonna do it. Oh, shit, you guys. It's 8. Gotta go. Jake's calling. Oh, Jake's calling. Oh my god, I look horrid. Oh, Murphy, you look so cute. Get out of here. You seriously gotta get out of here. You're fucking stinking this shit out. Okay, guys, I know I talk about myself a lot, but, like, what would you guys do in my situation? Dana, where are you going? Yeah, I gotta go to the pool. Yeah, I failed 2 of them already. Is there, do like a wine night? Like, let's just do a wine night.
Yo, is it okay if I have a party? Like, just 3 or 4 people, at most.
Okay, so then let's see where we were at. Sorry, guys. I'm not the best at maneuvering these. But this would have been Dylan's bedroom here. This is the bedroom that she moved into. From the first floor, she moved to the second floor. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. And this is 2A here. So this would have been Dylan's new bedroom here. And then that would have been night view. So that's night view coming out of her bedroom. So we just saw night view going into her bedroom. So if she was standing here, I don't know what this does. All that just takes you back there. But yeah, then she would have not been able to see very well. Like, not at all. I'm trying to figure out how to exit the night vision thing, or the night thing. Okay. And then I'll play
DM
this.
stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. DM stated she was...
Oh, sorry. I wanted to see if I could do that in the night view, but I can't.
DM stated she originally went to sleep in her bedroom on the southeast side of the second floor. DM stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Goncalves playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which were located on the third floor. A short time later, DM said she heard who she thought was Goncalves say something to the effect of, "There's someone here." A review of records obtained from a forensic download of Kernodle's phone showed this could also have been Kernodle, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. DM stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. DM states she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernodle's room. DM then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay. I'm going to help you." At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Kernodle's bedroom. DM said she opened her door for the third time after she heard the crying, and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose, walking towards her. DM described the figure as 5 feet 10 inches or taller, male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past DM as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. DM locked herself in her room after seeing the male. DM did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. The combination of DM's statements to law enforcement, reviews of forensic downloads of records from BF and DM's phone, and video of a suspect video as described below, leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m.
Okay. If you're just now joining us, thank you so much for joining me today for my live. We are discussing the Idaho Four case. We're looking over a 3D animation right now. It's on the Kahlua.com. You can go there. It's a website. You can go there actually if you wanted to later on and look at this stuff too. It shows like night view, day view, shows information for each bedroom, who was sleeping where, and all of that stuff. So then this takes you out to the hallway, and then this is the kitchen here, and then it says, this is like in red because it's not really, I don't think, confirmed, but intruder's entry, exit point. And then this is just a picture of the kitchen there for you to look at. And then the pictures here, this one's on the Zillow app. And then this is going to the third floor. So now we're on the third floor. So 3B would have been Kaylee's bedroom here. And then Murphy, this just says Murphy was here, you know. Murphy was found in this bedroom here. And then that's this is their bathroom that they shared up on the third floor. Got a lot of storage in there. And then here's some more like just information and stuff like that. And then this is just more up-to-date case notes. How do I go back? Okay, so then we're going to go over to Maddie's room. Okay, that's just a photo. And then this is 2A. And then it just says, you know, Madison and Kaylee were found on the bed. And then this is where, like, the knife sheath was found somewhere. Knife sheath was found somewhere on the bed. Underneath, I think it was Maddie's right leg. And that's just a picture of her boots. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys this. I thought it was really interesting. It really gives you a lot of perspective. So we'll go ahead and we'll listen to this one too.
As I entered this bedroom, I could see two females in the single bed in the room. Both Goncalves and Mogan were deceased with visible stab wounds. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogan's right side, when viewed from the door. The sheath was later processed and had K-Bar, USMC, and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and Anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA, left on the button snap of the knife sheath.
Okay. If you guys are just joining us, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you do like the content. We're getting ready to watch the Nany Grace podcast here in just a moment. We're just looking at a 3D animation of the house. And like I said, if you guys want to visit the site and look at all this stuff, it's pretty interesting. So then that was the end of it, I believe. And then this is the beginning of the house here. Just kind of go through the pictures kind of faster this time. That's the downstairs if you're looking from Dylan's old bedroom into Bethany's room. This is inside of Dylan's old bedroom. I will actually do this one more time. So if you guys are just joining us, I will do this at night. Again, that way you can kind of see what, not Bethany, I'm sorry, but what Dylan would have saw that evening. So there is an option to like turn the lights off. So it just looks like this. When the lights are off, you can see like the banister and stuff. If you go this way, you can see Zaina's room and the good vibe sign. And then over here would have been Bethany's room. And then when you exit, it always just takes you back there. So, okay. I just wanted to show you guys that. If you guys have any questions, just let me know and I will try to answer them for you. I think maybe, do you think that maybe he wore something over his clothing and that's why he wasn't covered, like head to toe soaking wet in blood? Like in my head, I'm thinking maybe like a knapsack, like one of those little drawstring knapsacks, and you just put something in there to cover yourself with, put it back in the knapsack. Because there's just no way that when you saw the pictures even, I wonder, let's see. Let me find the kitchen. Where was the kitchen? Okay. So like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say now. I forget. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just forgot what I was going to try to say. Oh, no, what I was saying was I thought he was going to try to like clean himself up and put like a knapsack on and then take it out. You would think with all these pictures like that we see of the inside of the house, I know that this isn't a really good picture of the kitchen and nothing really was done there, but of the pictures that we do see, we don't see any like blood splatter or anything. I know that there was more pictures. And then this is what Dylan would have observed that night. So this would have been her looking out of the bedroom, and this would have been at night. Okay, I thought there was... I guess not. But this site is really good. I don't remember ever seeing that picture. Okay. So today we are going to watch the Crime Stories with Nany Grace. Before we get started, if we have 395 people in here, let's see how many likes we have, because I know y'all can help you can help a girl out here. It's free to do. We have 123 likes. So if everybody could just like the video, if you would like to subscribe to the channel, we would love to have you. We are doing our next giveaway for 5,000 subscribers. And right now we are at 49.45. And this is growing in real time. So look, oh, wait, 49, 40. So yeah, we're going to be there before we know it. And oh, I forgot to tell y'all, I get a TitaniumBuilt sign put behind me. And with that said, Vincent already ordered it last night. So y'all better not unsubscribe. So we're so close. I think we could do it by the end of today or by tomorrow, I feel like. If you think about it, I was doing the math. I don't have the math for this particular number now, but before I got on, I was like looking to see like what the math was. I thought I wrote it down. So Friday we had 4359, so 4,359. And then before we came on the live, we had like, I don't know, we were up 641 Titans. So we're going to be there before we know it. And thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I really, really do. You guys are amazing. You make my job so easy and you make my life easy because you guys are a good chat. And we have some new people in the chat today I saw, so that's really nice. I love new people. Always have new things to bring to the table, new thoughts. I love it. Yeah, he could have put on extra layers too. That's what Detective Juan was saying. Good morning. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just still wondering. I wonder why the front door's open. I'm just wondering so many. I'm just wondering so many things. So I know 404 people in here. We are doing excellent today, guys. Just gonna. Okay, so if you guys could just make sure you hit that thumbs up button. It's free to do. It really is. It's free to do. It helps the channel grow. It also gets it out into the algorithm. That way more people will come in and more people will chat. And if you're not a chatter per se, then you'll have things to look at while we're watching the Nany Grace podcast. It's a win-win. So right here it says, we actually went over, so we did watch a couple videos day before yesterday on my live. It was Nany Grace. She had an interview with one of Kohberger's neighbors. It was a guy, it was a gentleman, but he didn't want to like be seen. He didn't want his name out there. But he did say that, you know, he was going to invite Kohberger over one day, and I think it was his birthday or something. And his wife was like, no way, Jose, you're not doing that. So she had some sort of like sixth sense about him, saying like, don't even bring him around. So we did see a small clip of an interview, but I think this might be more of the full interview. And then, so we did watch that, but this is different. So it says, all this week, Nany Grace is in Moscow, Idaho, learning more about accused killer Bryan Kohberger. Listen to what Nany learns from Kohberger's neighbors. Kohberger appeared in court for a status hearing. During the conference, Kohberger waived his right to a speedy preliminary probable cause hearing. The judge scheduled a hearing to begin June 26 with the entire week blocked out for the case. Kohberger remains in custody with no bond. It says, why? I wonder why B's story changed in the PCA. Suddenly she wasn't in bed by 1 a.m. and was in the same place as, which is different than what the press released. Really? Oh, I don't know. I didn't know that. Ooh, that's a good catch. I'll have to look into that. I'm like loving that. I love whenever, like I've been going through this probable cause, and every time I do, I have to like put it down because I find so many things. But we're going to go over that this week too. We have so many things to go over. And then Wednesday, so tomorrow we're going to do podcast. Nany came out with another. And then Wednesday I was going to stream the Dr. Phil episode that they came out with. But I will say before I get started, if anybody hates when people pause a video to give a little commentary, then this isn't the place for you. I don't pause it very often, I don't feel like. But I just feel like a couple people in the comments would like to say stuff like, why do you pause it? We hate when you pause it. I pause it because that's what we do here. We pause it. We talk things through. If we hear something that's not right, we're like, wait, hold on a second, you know, and we talk about it, just like most channels do. So thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Let's see where we're at now. Oh, we're almost there, guys. We're going to hit it. And then our next giveaway, we've already been talking about it. So we're going to do one at 5,000 subscribers, and then we're going to do a bigger one at 10,000. So every time it's going to get bigger and bigger. So can't beat that. Okay. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. We're going to go ahead and get started here.
Mom has been kidnapped.
There's got to be a way to...
And I'm sorry I'm sorry this is loud. It's just I have no control over the volume really on this one.
Has been kidnapped.
There's got to be a way to...
Her stories even after her mic stops recording. When several teen girls mysteriously vanish, Poppy vows to find them and bring the people responsible to justice. Featuring Academy Award winner Octavia Spencer, Gabrielle Union, and Mekhi Phifer. Truth Be Told. Stream the new season January 20 exclusively on Apple TV+.
Going back to school as a working adult doesn't mean you have to sacrifice a high-quality education. Purdue University, a top 10 public university, took its innovative thinking to a new level when it created Purdue University Global for working adults. Discover innovative, practical ways to earn your degree online and advance your career. Purdue Global has already awarded more than 1 million credits for prior learning, which means you can save nearly half the cost of your bachelor's. See how close you are to finishing your degree at purdueglobal.edu. That's purdueglobal.edu.
We are outside the crime scene. Behind us, the home where these 4 beautiful college students were murdered. All around us here at the crime scene in Idaho, people are coming even in the rain, in the freezing temperatures behind me, to lay more flowers at the home where 4 beautiful University of Idaho students were murdered. Right behind me, the parking lot. We're out here really early in the morning. Typically, there are throngs of newscasters and reporters all camped out. But I think the rain has scared them away, but not the people who are coming to pay their respects to those 4 students. Behind me, the morning shift of a 24-hour guard service that is protecting the home. And I'm telling you, from what I've seen of a lot of reporters and, crime aficionados, I believe that they would get right up on the house and try to get in the house if they could. So it's a good thing that that guard is there. Don't worry, we've been bringing them coffee throughout because it's freezing here. Last night, again, we drove the route that Kohberger drove, leaving here. We followed his escape route, determined by when he turned on his phone when he left the crime scene. It's really hard driving. We took a video of it. The roads are so bad, no one would take that route in their right mind. It's pitch dark. It was raining at the time. Nobody would take that hour-plus route home when they could get home in just about 10 minutes. Not only that, we go to his apartment and end up meeting and interviewing several of his neighbors who, as of this moment, had not spoken before. I'm Nany Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us here at Fox Nation and Sirius XM 111. First of all, take a listen to our friends at NBC.
Bryan Kohberger again in court. The families of his victims are still looking for answers about a motive.
Obviously an emotional time for the family.
The lawyer for Kaylee Gonzalez's family saying Kohberger didn't know Kaylee or Maddie Mogen, as far as they know.
I don't know of anybody that did know him. All of those girls were social. They were involved in the college. They were working hard, waitressing and doing different things. So the idea that he may have ran across their paths, I don't think is uncommon.
The attorney saying the Gonzalez family has been in frequent contact with investigators as they look to build their case against Kohberger.
Well, anything that we have, we send over to the Moscow Police Department.
In court for a, as it is called, status hearing is a typical hearing. We are just now waiting for that warrant to be unsealed. You know how long it took to get the probable cause warrant for arrest unsealed? Well, now it may be up to 2 months or longer before we get the warrant to search his apartment. With me, an all-star panel to make sense of what we're learning out here in Moscow, Idaho. First, I want to go to Cheryl McCollum, forensic expert and founder of the Cold Case Research Institute. She's also the star of Zone 7, a new hit podcast. Cheryl, I've got to tell you and everybody else what we learned from multiple neighbors last night. All right, listen to this. First of all, None of them want to be identified or connected to Kohberger. They don't want to be called his friend, his acquaintance, anything. We learned that Kohberger's father came all the way to Moscow earlier and helped Kohberger move into his apartment there at Steptoe Village. We also learned that his father, who seemed like a really nice guy, according to the neighbor, asked the neighbor to be friends with Kohberger. It's like me arranging a play date for my twins when they're 3 years old. He asked him to be friends with Kohberger and said it's really hard for his son to meet people or to make friends. We learned that the feds took loads of stuff out of Kohberger's apartment. We learned that inside Kohberger's apartment, it was very, very sparse. Not a lot of stuff in there at all. We also learned that Kohberger's apartment is right on top of a little child's apartment. There were a lot of children there in the apartment complex, Cheryl. And it was kind of quite a dichotomy to know an alleged mass killer was sharing a wall with a child. There were a lot of children in the apartment. We also learned something very unusual. I'll get Karen Stark to weigh in on this. So while the neighbor was making friends with Kohberger, as Kohberger's father had asked him to do, at one point he was going to invite him over to dinner, and his wife said, "Don't. There's just something about him. I don't know what it is. I don't like it. I don't want him around." I find that and so much more of what the neighbor told me to be very, very interesting, maybe even probative as it comes to proving the case. Okay, Cheryl McCollum, jump in.
This should surprise nobody. Number one, we watched his dad answer questions for him to a police officer. The fact that his dad would say, "Hey, make friends with my son, be his buddy," when his son is nearly 30, tells you that his dad absolutely knows his son is not somebody that can navigate socially in this world by himself. He's proven it over and over and over. This is going to, again, be a shock to nobody that this guy in social settings is awkward and doesn't know how to, move about as a grown man. He also shares an office with two people that are also in the PhD program. I think they are going to be critical. I think his students are going to be critical. I think fellow classmates are going to be critical. We also heard from the woman that went on the date with him that said, again, she couldn't put her finger on it. She just wanted him away from her. Everybody that spends any amount of time with this man gets that gut feeling.
Another interesting thing the neighbor said was the father was super nice, and the neighbor, believes the father and mother had no idea that Kohberger could be a killer, that they only see him through the lens of being their son. But it's very clear to me, Karen Stark joining me, renowned psychologist joining us out of Manhattan. She's at KarenStark.com. Karen is spelled with a C, by the way. Karen, what do you make of Daddy trying to set up play dates for Kohberger?
Well, that's an arrested development, Nancy. I mean, as you said, it was something you did with your 3-year-old son or daughter, and that makes sense to me. He's an introverted guy, and so many people interviewed talked about the fact that he was strange, that they could pick up something. And people do. You do. When you're around somebody, it's very rare that you hear he was outgoing. People will say, "Oh, he's a good neighbor," but you don't hear when it comes to killers, this kind of a killer, think about it. He was stalking. He was able to just be there over and over again. He would drive at night. He's very much to himself. As it is when you're in a PhD program, and when you're in graduate school, you've got to spend so much time reading and studying, and that's perfect for him.
Well, another thing that I found out, guys, and I'm going to go to a special guest joining us. Laura Engel is with us, senior correspondent with Fox News Channel. Laura, we found out from speaking yesterday, we went all over Moscow, and we spoke with students in the criminal justice program, the same program Kohberger was in, and they're very upset. And they pointed out something really critical that I didn't think about earlier. They said the day that the bodies were found here behind me, that an all-school email went out, including to Kohberger, stating there have been homicides just off campus. WSU students, Idaho University students are believed to be safe. WSU students believed to be safe. Classes are going to resume. They also said that the students that were afraid to come back to campus would be docked. In other words, it would be like missing class. You had to come back in person to campus. What do you think about that, Laura Engel?
That you can only imagine opening that email. And, of course, then we learned, I think it was days later, there was some retraction there from the police of, well, maybe there is somebody still out there. But one of the things you mentioned, talking to the neighbors where he lived in Washington, there was another neighbor that just this week came out and said in published reports, said that Kohberger came out right after the murders, in that time frame that you're talking about, when that email went out, and said, yeah, seems like they have no leads. Seems like it's a crime of passion, talking to one of these neighbors in his parking lot. And it reminds me of the arsonist that goes back to check on the fire.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole thing, Laura Engel, to go back and look at your handiwork and get gratification from seeing what you've done.
Yeah, Nancy.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's so typical of a killer. They do that. They go back. When they're there, they try to take a souvenir, but they like to go back because they relive the excitement that they felt while it was happening. I also wonder, did he go back because he realized that he dropped that sheep and the knife and was trying to figure out if there was a way that he could get back inside?
I'm thinking about another thing that...
I'm going to pause it really quick because I wanted to ask you guys that. Do you feel like, because Bryan Kohberger, he left the scene around, 4 a.m., and then he comes back towards the house and he's in the area. His phone pings in the area from 9:12 to 9:21. We talked about this last night on our live. So we probably have some new people in here. So I'm going to ask you guys. Early in the investigation, a neighbor had stated that the door was left open between 8:30 and 9. I'm wondering if the neighbor got the time off and the door was open between 9 and 9:30. And that was Kohberger maybe trying to enter the home. Maybe to recover the sheaf or something. And when he walked in, maybe something as soon as he walked in, something startled him and he left. And then that is why the front door is open. Because there's a reason why that front door is left open. And I don't feel like it was left open all night because it was so cold that night that I feel like Bethany would feel the breeze from her bedroom that she would want to wake up and shut the door. So let me know your thoughts on that. Also, if you're just now joining us, welcome to my live. This is a great Monday live. We are actually listening to Nany Grace right now. Earlier in the live, we did a 3D, went through the house through a 3D virtual tour. So if you want to go back and replay and watch that, it is there. It's available. One more time before we get started, we are going to do a new giveaway at 5,000 Titans. So right now we're over 5,000, guys. We did it. We did it, guys. We did it. That's so awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Okay, so what's going to happen now is what I'm going to do after, make sure we got the 5,000 and 5 people don't, cut off on me. Thank you guys so much. What we'll do is we will, I'll make a short video and I'll tell you exactly how to enter the contest. Basically, what you'll do is I'll pick a video and you're going to hashtag giveaway underneath of the video. And then that will make sure it gets you in the drawing, because 5,000 people doesn't mean 5,000 people watch my stuff religiously. So we want to make sure it goes to, somebody that's always watching. So thank you guys so much. That's so awesome. A lot of hard work, but it was worth it. So worth it. So worth it. We've had a crazy ride, let me tell you. My channel started 3 years ago, just tell you real quick, and it started as a trauma channel. And then in August, I decided to switch over to true crime, and you know, that's how it's been great ever since. I mean, I just do still love my trauma and channel stuff, and I'm still doing that. So if you guys have any traumas, like injuries, and you want me to do any videos, let me know. And I have tons of videos to watch. So if you guys are new subscribers, you guys have tons and tons of content to catch up on. Thank you guys so much. You guys are so awesome. I really appreciate all of you. So much. Yeah, 10,000 is not going to take long. So after 10,000, I don't know what we're going to do a giveaway, but I don't get nothing at 10,000. But no, I will get my sign though, and it's coming, and it's big, and it's beautiful. And if I can get a picture of it before the live's over, I'll show it to you guys because I don't have it on my phone. Vincent ordered it last night, so okay, we'll get back to Nany Grace now. Thank you guys so much again.
Another neighbor told us that Kohberger came around and was saying, hey, I heard police don't have any leads. They don't really know what happened. And what have you heard? And just like you just said, Laura Engel, stating, wow, looks like it's a crime of passion. That was to a different neighbor. So he was out talking about it with people, but when it would get brought up in class, he'd clam up. Oh, hey, Laura Engel, I learned something else. You know, let me throw this to Dale Carson with me, high-profile lawyer joining us out of Jacksonville, former FBI agent and cop in Miami, author of Arrest Proof Yourself. Dale, another thing we learned, and this was after we canvassed multiple students at the school, that they are not allowed to talk about the murders in class, in the criminology classes. They're not allowed to even bring it up. They will be asked to leave if they bring it up in class. And they've been told that it's a legal problem if they talk about it, which of course it's not.
These are students at SWU or students there?
At WSU, yes, WSU.
That's ridiculous. I don't know how it could affect.
It really is.
It's a violation of the freedom of speech, and that should be a concern to any higher learning institution.
Well, I'm just wondering, are they afraid, is the faculty afraid that they're going to be accused of basically schooling a serial killer?
Well, they did.
I mean, is that what they're worried about?
Well, they certainly
did.
No,
I disagree with you on that, Dale. I disagree with you because that would be like saying you go to law school and you run out and you commit torts because you went to civil procedure or you are a violent criminal. Because you had criminal law. That's crazy. That's crazy talk, Dale Carson.
All right. Well, it is a fact, though.
You're going to take that lying down? You're going to take what I just said lying down? I wouldn't. I'd fight back. But go ahead.
I believe that they not intentionally, but they certainly did provide the level of information that appears on TV and NCIS and other programs that provide information to potential killers. And we all worry about this. We worry about getting on national news and talking about evidence acquisition, how they do it, all of these things, because it prepares evil people to address those issues. The only thing that protects us is the fact that they're going to do it anyway, because there's something driving them that's very deep in their souls. Well, so it's not like they're not going to do it. And clearly, individuals who have never engaged in this behavior before make mistakes, as we're now seeing here.
Nany, when you talked about that edict going out for the students, that was at University of Idaho?
When I was talking to the students, it was, I was told the ones at WSU were told they cannot talk about Kohberger.
Right.
And they can't talk about the case, and they can't talk about any theory or anything like that. And I mean, it's a real stretch. I mean, you could accuse any professor or anyone of implanting those thoughts in a killer. Or for instance, what about this? I studied domestic relations in law school. So if I go and shoot up my house, is my teacher responsible for that? No, of course not. That's just way too attenuated. There's not a nexus between the crimes.
There's no better time than the new year to resolve to protect your identity
hopefully
and
you guys
finances.
can hear me over that.
Identity thieves can take out loans in your name, take over and drain your banking and investment accounts, and more. It can be dangerously easy to become a victim of identity theft.
LifeLock
makes it easy to help protect your identity and financial future. LifeLock monitors your accounts and credit and detects potential threats to your identity that you may miss on your own. And if you do become a victim of ID theft, a U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses.
73
but
or
LifeLock by
75% of you guys
New Year's
said yes.
resolution that's easy to keep.
2%
So
no,
join today
and 23%
and save up to
unsure.
25% off your first year.
So
Go to
pretty good poll.
lifelock.com/iHeart. That's lifelock.com/iHeart for 25% off.
But
Welcome to mile
they'll connect Bryan
5033.
to other crimes?
The first mile of the first road trip with
I
you
feel
and
like
your
they
newborn.
could, and they
Thankfully,
may.
the Hyundai Tucson has an available 10.25-inch infotainment screen, so you can seek out all the soothing sounds of nature to keep your kid calm, or whatever else babies are listening to
They need
these
more
days.
gain? Okay.
And with available wireless device charging, your phone will stay powered up, so you can ask the
Is that a
internet
little
why
better?
the baby made that weird gurgling sound at mile 5,062.
Maybe that'll be better.
Or that scrunchy face at mile 5,103. Because when it comes to navigating the new roads in life,
There we
Hyundai
go.
is
I'll just
thinking
turn
of
it off
every
for a minute.
mile. The new Hyundai Tucson.
Maybe I can
It's
skip
your
it. Let
journey.
me see if I can fast
Test
forward
drive
through the
new
ad.
Tucson
Sometimes
at
it'll
your
let you
nearest
like
Hyundai
do
dealer,
it.
or learn more at HyundaiUSA.com.
95% of Uber Eats orders are on time.
Crime Stories with Nany Grace.
I want to tell you what else we learned last night. We learned that a lot of people would see Kohberger, but only walking in and out. He never once, from anybody we talked to, was spotted bringing a woman, a girlfriend, into the apartment or even walking with them, in the car with them. Never. Okay, Chris McDonough joining me from the Cold Case Foundation. He's the director, former homicide detective, and host of the Interview Room. What do you make of that, Chris?
Not surprising, Nancy. This individual obviously has very difficult time creating relationships. The fact that there's no obvious relationship also makes us think about, okay, is there a sexual component to this? We're talking a lot about looking for the MO, but we're missing what we would call in the investigative process signature. And that would be the behavior that goes beyond the actions necessary to successfully commit this crime. We're seeing a lot of signature attributes come to the play here. And the fact that the university is maybe trying to quash that actually is detrimental to the investigation and, quite frankly, plays into the hand of the perpetrator.
Guys, so much is happening fast and furious. Now, criminalists all over are analyzing Kohberger's, quote, amateur mistakes. I'm calling him a textbook criminologist, Cheryl McCollum, because when I say textbook, I mean he read a lot of books about criminology, about committing crimes. And I really do believe at this juncture, until we find out something else, that, as I mentioned before and you and I discussed, he just wasn't getting enough of a thrill from reading about it and talking to criminals and actually having students write essays. Oh, Kelly, remember last night we also learned that there were shared docs where Kohberger reportedly was having people write about the perfect crime and reading that. So I think, Cheryl, and again, I'm a JD, not an MD, that it was no longer fulfilling him and he actually had to try and commit the perfect crime.
Could very well be. You're talking about 7 years. This is what he concentrated on at a higher educational level. 7 years he has studied. So to me, there's 2 points I want to make. One, you can read all the books you want to on parenting, but until that baby's put in your arms and you take it home by yourself, you got no idea what you're in for. And that's just a fact. You can study all you want, but that doesn't make you sleep deprived. That doesn't make you fearful of SIDS and different things that are not really applicable until that baby's with you. The same is going to be for him. He had no idea the sound, the force, the dog got in his way. Ethan woke up. All of these factors that came to be that he did not count on or plan for. It is a very different thing when you put something in action versus reading it in a book.
Well, it's like a carpenter who forgets to put his hammer back in his ouch. You know, you can't do something like that, which he obviously did. And Cheryl, I call you Magic Cheryl now because you really do understand the dynamic here in a way that I have frankly never heard before, which is the baking a cake syndrome, where you read the recipe, but you can't really put a cake together unless you really know what you're doing and you're a baker. And that's what's happened in this case.
That's right. And there's a second thing going on. Nancy, there's a second thing going on. Everybody right now is talking about Dr. Ramsland. Well, let me tell you something. How much time have I spent in Sunday school and in church? And there's a book filled with how you're supposed to be. I know the playbook. I know what's supposed to happen, but it has to be in me, whether or not I'm going to be a good person.
Hey guys, hold on. We've compared the murders to baking a cake, to raising a baby, to a carpenter, and now we've somehow dragged in the Bible. But I'm hearing in my ear, Laura Ingle has breaking news. Senior correspondent, Fox News Channel. Laura, tell me what you know.
Well, there is the thought here that this may not have been his first time, right? We've all wondered, could he have committed this crime allegedly on his first try? And so because of that, everybody has wondered, has he done this before? It is being looked at. I have spoken to federal and local law enforcement here on the East Coast, in Pennsylvania and Washington, that are looking at that. We know that they are double checking and circling back. Where are the cold cases where there are no suspects? Now that he has been arrested, he's been fingerprinted, presumably in CODIS, they are double checking that. And we don't have any hits yet, but we are looking into that. And it could be a small crime, it could be a large crime, but it is definitely something that is going on right now as we speak. And we're waiting for any kind of hit, not just in the Pennsylvania area, but probably in Washington State as well, and Idaho.
Can it be a virtual crime? Could it have been on his computers that have been seized, where he gets on games and kills people to see how that actually works out? And the software writers certainly are not going to know all the ins and outs of behaving that way.
Well, you know what? I do know from the neighbors that the feds seized a ton of stuff out of Kohberger's apartment. Guys, another thing we learned last night is that the county jail here, where he's being held, is called the County Hotel. I call it Camp Flower because I've learned that they often play soothing music to wake the inmates up, that they order pizza sometimes for the inmates, that they have outdoor time, they have access to the library, which of course they should for their legal preparation. But it sounds like a pretty sweet deal. There are about 42, was it 42 or 47, Kelly, inmates at the county jail.
I'm just going to pause this for a minute because I see some comments I wanted to get to. Okay, so this one here, it's a drug house. The girl worried the police might find drugs in her roommate's life. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Exaniu Wu. Where did you find that information? And if you could please tell me the link, that way I could read that, because that house was not a drug house. We have not seen any proof of that being a drug house. We have not seen any proof of those people doing drugs or anything of the sort. So we don't want to be saying that they're doing things that they're not doing. And then, let's see. They probably seal warrants because they don't want to give. Normally when they seal warrants or they put things under a gag order, just like they did in the Delphi case, it's because they're holding on to the information that they have and they don't want the information getting out because it can hurt the case. They don't even need to give us anything that they've already given us. They've given us a lot of information. I feel like the PCA gave out a lot of information that, we really weren't pertinent to. I'm just trying to see if anyone answers me back. So just make sure. So while we're waiting to see if anyone, okay, William, so if it's 1000% drug house, I had to time you out yesterday for saying stuff. Show me the proof of that. So you show me the proof, and we're going to sit here and we're going to wait a few seconds for that. So we're waiting. Don't say, here we go. I want to see the proof. That's all. You said you come in the chat and you like just spit out stuff. And I'm not the only person that notices it. So I'm just asking you to show me proof that that was 1,000% a drug house. He's locked up. Who are you what are you talking about? Are you trying to say that Bryan's house is a drug house? Or are you trying to say the Moscow house is a drug house? Because I don't believe neither of them had drugs. Hi, GP. I just like to, whenever we see stuff on this channel, we want to make sure that we get the facts. So if I see a lot of stuff, thrown in there about stuff like drugs or anybody saying that these girls had a fans or OnlyFans thing and all that, that's ridiculous. So there is no, I don't have a link in my chat though. So what have other people saw? You haven't said anything. Yeah, no, Bryan may have been using drugs. Definitely. He was a past user. The girls, though, is what I'm saying. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play Nancy, and then I'm going to see if... No, I don't, Crime Sleuthin. I don't have any mods. I could always time them out if I need to. I'm going to go ahead and start playing this again, and I'm going to check the email.
One of them. But it sounds like a pretty cushy jail to be in, kind of like, a bigger version of the Mayberry jail. And I'm not knocking it, because where I grew up, it was the same way. But if and when he is convicted and goes into the state system, it's a whole nother ball game. I want to talk more about the parking lot we saw last night outside of Kohberger's place. There is just really no way that the neighbors couldn't have seen the white Elantra. It's parked right in front of his apartment every single night. But I asked the neighbor, I was afraid the neighbor was going to get mad at me. But the neighbor said, yeah, we saw it, but we just didn't put it together. I guess you see what you want to see, and you know what you want to know. I've seen that so many times, Cheryl McCollum.
Oh, absolutely. And, Nancy, they want to feel safe. They don't want to believe that there's a murderer, mass murderer, living one wall from them. They don't probably think, like law enforcement, to say they're searching for that car. A lot of times when something has always been there, like your neighbor's red truck or green Buick, you're not ever looking at it again. It's just like when you look at your watch, you're not really looking for what time it is. You're looking for what time it's not, because you're supposed to be somewhere at a certain time. They weren't looking for something that's always been there.
We've learned that the search warrant for the apartment, for Kohberger's apartment, has been sealed. And it's likely going to stay sealed, according to the judge, for about the next 2 months. Now, I wonder where the 2 months timeline came from. And it's sealed over, quote, serious and imminent threat. It also says premature public disclosure could threaten law enforcement, the integrity of the investigation, and public safety. Now, the judge also has a caveat that says it could be lifted earlier, but it's going to be at least 2 months. Who has any idea, Laura Engel, why the search warrant for Kohberger's apartment has been sealed?
Yeah, that document that was published and it was put out on December 30th. And just what you read, they've got it sealed, but the judge made the caveat that it could be unsealed prior if there was reason. But for right now, they want to hold the integrity, just like we've seen for these last 7 weeks, why they wanted to keep the information at probable cause sealed up. So I'm super curious. We're talking about.
Okay, so sorry. I'm not going to pause it anymore. Are we talking about marijuana being the drug? Because if you're all talking about marijuana, get out of here. Get out of here with that. Seriously, if y'all are upset and talking about these kids smoking pot, and then you're making this seem like a drug house because they smoked a little bit of pot, I'm sorry. Then that's just ridiculous. It's college. If you're only smoking pot and drinking a little bit of beer and drinking, then you're doing pretty damn good for yourself. Like, and you experiment in college. You do. You experiment when you're not in college. Shit. But marijuana, guys? Really? That we're talking about marijuana? You have not... Okay, I just can't take him anymore. I can't handle his shit anymore. Sorry, I just can't. I have to just block him again. I had to block him yesterday because he just spreads misinformation and I cannot handle it. It kills me. But if it's weed, then they weren't selling weed out of the house. I'm pretty sure. They don't look like they could even be that sneaky to do anything like that. They probably hit a joint here and there. But I mean, and they are okay. So, and also, I don't know about Idaho, but let's see. Well, I guess they won't be able to. It's illegal there, so they wouldn't be able to have their medical. But most places you can have a medical. Yeah, I was looking at my email. I didn't see any yet, but I see some. I'll have to go through them like later on. But I'll go ahead and play the podcast again. If you guys are just joining us, if you don't mind, hit the like button. Also, if you want to subscribe to the channel, we are True Crime. I didn't block him because he disagreed with me. I didn't block him. I put him in timeout. He comes in the chat every single day and he starts stuff and he spreads misinformation. And I've told him multiple times. Actually, I've told him for the last month. I've timed him out only twice in a month. So I do let him have his own opinion. I don't mind people having their own opinion. But I said in the beginning of my live, you're not going to come in here and victim shame. You're not going to blame the victim for anything that's untrue, and you're not going to spread misinformation. I just don't prefer that. I'm sorry. I mean, you know, these are people that lost their lives, and for the people to come in here and say, well, it was 1,000% a drug house when there's no information of that, even if that was true. There's no reason for someone to come in when these 4 people, 5 people, 6 people altogether are sleeping or whatever and murder them. There's no reason for that. I don't care what they were doing. I don't care if they were high off their ass. There's no reason for them to have gotten to that, for that to happen to them. There's just no reason for that. It's a shame. It really is. I'm going to go ahead and play the podcast again.
Bryan Kohberger's apartment. And we've often talked about the white Elantra. And when we were in Pennsylvania after his arrest, we drove around looking for lots, maybe police lots where that car is probably held in a garage somewhere. But with the reporting that we've done covering crime stories as we have, we know about MVAC technology, about the new technologies that are used to pull out fibers and hairs and any kind of trace of DNA and in a vehicle. So if there is that kind of information that's out yet, we don't know. That could be something that we could be looking for. That's what I'm looking for as we move down the road when we look at the evidence from the car and from his home, which is going to be a huge list of items.
You know, that's interesting what Laura Ingle just said, Fox News correspondent joining us. It is being theorized, and I think it's correct, that there is very likely more DNA evidence that we don't know about because it's most likely being processed right now. When we talk about an MVAC, they're amazing. Cheryl McCollum, describe what an MVAC can do.
It can extract DNA off items like a rock or a rope or clothing at a level that a buccal swab just cannot do. And Nancy, I can guarantee you they already have DNA off there because the killer, he would have had to grab them on their bedclothes and hold them down. He touched the bed sheet. They have more DNA. There's no doubt in my mind.
I sure hope so, Cheryl. Go ahead, Dale.
It's certainly in the car. And that's where that can really pay off. Because clearly he tried to clean the car. There's evidence of that fact from Pennsylvania. And so there's a reason you try to intentionally clean your car. There's a reason for that. And with these new sophisticated things, which are essentially a vacuum cleaner with a really good filter in it, you extract all that data or that DNA from the carpets or wherever the hell else it is, because there's little doubt, as Cheryl said, there's plenty of DNA. It just takes a minute to find it all. And of course, the initial emphasis was on identifying the guy and arresting him to make sure he didn't kill somebody else or get away. And so they've accomplished that. Now they can take all the time they want in order to solidify the case against Kohberger in a way that makes it evident that he's going to suffer the death penalty.
And that's called the Bardol method.
Go ahead, because I'm really thinking about the car and where the trace evidence could be inside the car. And when I circle back to you, Cheryl, I want to hear a more detailed description of how an MVAC works when it comes to a car specifically. Do they have to cut the carpet out? Do they have to cut out the upholstery? But Chris McDonough, back to what you were saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's called the Bardol method, Nancy, and you can also get DNA, touch DNA from jewelry on any of the victims. Let's say the suspect, had an interaction during the struggle where if he touched even items they were wearing, that method through the MVAC can pull that touch DNA off of that.
Yeah, I keep thinking about the car, but in reality, right behind me is a treasure trove of evidence. And Cheryl McCollum, you and I were going back and forth yesterday off air about all the red sticky seals across the front door where it was like evidence.
Sure.
When you seal evidence, say DNA, you take a buccal swab and you put it in an envelope and you send it to the crime lab. You seal it. Don't you remember how Royals years ago would put wax on an envelope and then put their seal with their initial or whatever their mascot would be? And if that were broken, then the recipient would know someone had read the message or even replaced it. Same thing with crime scene evidence. You close it up in an envelope, a brown manila envelope, and you put tape over it and you sign on the tape or around the tape your name, your rank, and the date and time. When it's opened up, it is then recorded who, what time, and when it was opened up. And then after the testing is done, it's actually resealed again. Same thing with this house right behind me. The front door is covered with red tape, horizontally placed on the door to show if anyone else has entered and broken the tape. It's really important because they may be going back in there because we've seen the lights, right, Sydney? We see the light go on and off in that bottom right room. So somebody has been in there for whatever reason. Go ahead, Cheryl McCollum.
Well, that's exactly what they've done, Nancy. They're going to maintain the integrity so that the prosecution and the defense knows exactly who came in and out of that house on what day and what time, and then they'll be able to show the corresponding evidence to show the reason they went in the house again and what they were able to retrieve. Now, getting back to the MVAT and the Bardot method as well, this machine looks like a very miniature, like carpet cleaner, like a steam cleaner, and it shoots down the solution at the exact same time that it sucks it back up onto this cotton filter so that it can be then developed into a full profile of the person's DNA. Then they take that profile, obviously, and they put it into CODIS, and they do it in the Ancestry if they need to. And in this case, my gut feeling is they used a private lab like Othram to do the profile because it was done so fast. And like Dale said, now they're not in a hurry. They don't have to rush with the sheets or the clothing or the jewelry or even the dog's collar for that matter. Anything they believe that this killer touched, they can potentially get DNA off of it.
You know, you said Othram. I agree. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with the state crime labs. But sometimes some private DNA analysts, such as Othram or Parabon Nanolabs, they specialize in degraded DNA, mixed DNA, correct, DNA that has mud in it, that has other particles in it, other than the DNA they're looking for. That's their specialty, and they're not overloaded like state crime labs. They can do it more quickly. So I think that's what's happening. And as I always say, and you'll love this, Karen Stark, when you don't know a horse, look at his track record. If this guy left his sheath from the murder weapon beside a victim on the bed, What else did he do? What other mistakes did he make? Beside that, the fact that his cell phone was cut off en route to the crime scene and then turned on that lonely dirt road, bumpy dirt road in the middle of the night, he turns it back on. That's an omission. It's not actively doing something, but if it's out of character, like if he, like myself, leave my phone on all the time, and I charge it at night, turned on, I leave it on all the time, and then at that particular moment, he turns it off, that's uncharacteristic. And that omission proves something, Karen Stark.
Yeah, Nancy, we kept talking about, he's a student and, he's studying this. You have to get into graduate school. You have to be so smart. And for such a smart guy, he made so many stupid mistakes and didn't really think it through clearly. When I had this image that he kept rehearsing in his mind, but even the fact that he's surrounded by blood, right? How is he going to get all of that out of his car? It's got to be on his clothes, somewhere on his shoes, on the gas pedal, it's there. He left the seat. I mean, he didn't think of small details that you would have assumed he was sure about and careful about.
Just want to say thank you to everybody that is in the chat. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I'm in Ohio too, Amy. I just saw that comment. I am in Ohio myself. Thank you guys so much for being here today. We are about an hour and a half into the live. So if you guys are just now joining us, there is a little bit to catch up on if you want to go back and catch up. We are listening to the rest of the Nany Grace podcast let me tell you exactly what it's over. So this one is over a neighbor that had a sixth sense kind of about Bryan. Bryan had a neighbor, a guy that Nancy did an interview with, stating that he was going to invite Bryan over. I think it was his birthday. And Bryan's wife said, like, hell no, you're not inviting him over. She had a really bad feeling about him. So that's kind of what they're going over. Because Nancy is in Moscow, Idaho for this week to cover the case. So she'll only be there for 1 week also. I didn't know how long she was going to be there. So thank you so much, Amy L, for the super chat. I really appreciate that so much. Thank you. And thank you to everybody who is here. I really appreciate it. If you guys could just hit the like button, it really does help the channel grow. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, we'd love to have you. We're getting ready to do our 5,000 subscriber Titan giveaway. So be sure to watch out for that video. And I'll make sure I let you guys know exactly when I post the video. So that way you guys can enter the contest. So, and I'm going to go ahead and play this again here. It's not too loud.
62.
Order is late. Uber Eats.
Oval, a true crime podcast host who dives deep into her stories, even as it stays with you long after the episode ends. There's an Apple TV Plus original series called Truth Be Told. Truth Be Told follows Poppy Scoville, a true crime podcast host who dives deep into her stories even after her mic stops recording. When several teen girls mysteriously vanish, Poppy vows to find them and bring the people responsible to justice. Featuring Academy Award winner Octavia Spencer, Gabrielle Union, and Mekhi Phifer. Truth Be Told. Stream the new season January 20 exclusively on Apple TV Plus. Crime Stories with Nany Grace.
To Dale Carson, it was either Dale or Chris McDonough that first brought up the idea of the killer having a, quote, lair behind the house. And we went up there and examined so many spots where the killer could have sat and looked right in to the bedroom windows of the girls. Do you think, anybody on the panel, that he wore a protective outfit and then discarded the clothes on his escape route? Or would he be stupid enough to take the clothes home and try to wash them? Jump in, Chris.
I think he came prepared for that evening. And after the incident, I believe he did discard those items in various locations, which is consistent with the idea of he had a fantasy purpose here. What that is, we don't know yet, but he was very consistent in, the overkill, the after the scene, what he did, when he left, to your point. So I'm going to be really surprised if they find those particular items in the house, with the exception of the knife.
What about the shoes? Chris?
I'm going to be surprised. I think Cheryl will, jump in here. I think it's going to be really surprising if he still has those shoes. But it's possible, but I'm not going with it yet.
Agree or disagree, Dale Carson?
I've handled a number of these cases, and typically the individual is wearing a jumpsuit and takes all of that clothing off and throws it in a dumpster. And we have a significant period of time between the time that white car was at least identified to the public and the actual killing. So there's plenty of opportunity for those things to be in a dump somewhere, but it's going to be too difficult to find them in the dump. So they're not going to do that sort of processing. But the idea that he kept stuff, that's certainly consistent with serial killers, but I don't know that it's consistent here, because as one of your other guests, Joseph, says, if there's a fracture in that knife that's still in one of the bones in the body, they can find that fracture and connect the two together. He can't be that dumb, although I will say anyone with any sense would have left his phone on and back at his apartment. And that way you have no connection.
Guys, I want to circle back to why there is a serious threat of damage and premature public disclosure of this warrant could threaten law enforcement. Why could they possibly put those words in the judge's decision to seal the search warrant for Kohberger's apartment? Why would they do that, Cheryl McCollum?
Nancy, the only time I've heard of that happening is if somebody has connections to gang or drug activity. Now, I do know that he's had a past addiction to heroin. If he got back on some type of drug and was meeting somebody, at different locations, and again, his phone will tell that, his activity will tell that, his bank account will tell that. Maybe they were afraid that this person may have some type of retaliation toward law enforcement if they think law enforcement is going to make a connection and come after them as a secondary maneuver.
Well, it could be novel investigative techniques as well.
I'm not sure what you mean by novel investigative techniques, but I will tell you this. They're playing it really smartly because they did not release that PC affidavit that talked about DM identifying Kohberger, or in other words, not him by name, but could describe him to an extent. They did not release that until he was in jail to make sure he couldn't come back and kill DM. They also stated, or put it out there, that DM and BF, the other roommates, they made it very clear they were on the first floor, when in fact they were on the second. At least DM was on the second floor with the ability to watch the killer leave. So they kept that a secret until after he was behind bars. And I'm wondering if a similar strategy is not being employed with the search warrant for his apartment. Laura, what's next?
Well, circling back to what you mentioned about the search warrants on page 2 and talking about why these search warrants would be sealed, they also mention the personal privacy. That's item 2 on the search warrant. The personal privacy interests of the witness, victims, and victims' families named in the application filed in this cause also supports sealing the documents filed in this matter. So it's an impact on law enforcement and public safety, but also about the personal privacy. And as we have seen with the other victims' families, we've heard from the Gonzalez family quite a bit, as we know. Ethan Chapin's family members just basically broke their silence, speaking about the case in a Facebook page. The mother talking about on an update saying that anything that they had for Ethan is now frozen with the defense. The family of Ethan Chapin going on to say, for us, it involved 2 vehicles, ease, belonging, and a nice set of golf clubs. They've met with prosecutors, handled media inquiries, managed, grieved, talked, and continue to try to process what they call their new normal. So there is who knows what in those search warrants that they want to keep private from all of us as they continue to process these multiple crime scenes. And I also want to mention, I was asking about the University of Idaho earlier. We know that classes have resumed. Ethan was a triplet. His brother and sister, Maisie and Hunter, returned to the campus of University of Idaho this week. That could be another reason why, people are being very careful with them. They are going back to their classes. Can you imagine? These three children, these siblings, these triplets, chose this college. I spoke to the family spokesperson for Ethan Chapin this week. They said these three chose University of Idaho to be together. They wanted to learn together. They wanted to have the college experience together. And now two are returning without their brother this week.
Laura Engel, that just broke my heart. And then Ethan's family posted a picture of the triplets when they were young, and just heartbreaking to me. Multiple bombshells emerging from the hearing that was held at the courthouse. It was called a status conference, but this is what emerged. Kohberger's preliminary hearing, where we will hear more evidence, has been set for June 26th at 9 a.m. We all know that Kohberger was in court for his status hearing in an orange T-shirt, and he told the court he waived his right to a speedy trial. That is significant. Under our Constitution, you can demand a speedy trial. You don't have to stay in jail for a year before your trial goes to a jury. If a speedy trial is demanded, the state has to gather its evidence and try you in that grand jury term, which is usually 2 months, and one other. In other words, your trial will go down within 4 to 6 months if you file a speedy trial demand. We know that preliminary hearing is set. I'm surprised they're not using a grand jury instead of a preliminary hearing, because the state will have to show part of its case to the defense at a preliminary hearing, where a grand jury is conducted in secret. Right now, we expect the search warrants for Kohberger's apartment to be released on March 1. We're hoping they are released before then. Behind me, even in the rain, and it's really cold out here, people are continuing to come and leave flowers in memory of the 4 victims that died right behind us. And we will do the same. Nany Grace, Crime Story, signing off. Goodbye, friend.
You will not believe it, but the White House has recently...
Okay, sorry, I was trying to read through the chat a little bit. I wonder if he will be charged with more crimes, if they'll end up, because that the cops are out there checking everything, every crime that's happened in Moscow to Pullman or in the surrounding areas since he's been there. Didn't Nancy have? Oh, I don't know about that, Prince. I didn't know she has that. She had that on Dancing with the Stars, but she was on Dancing with the Stars. I saw that. I never watched that show though. Amy said, "What doesn't make sense to me is why would Bryan walk past DM's room but not look inside? He walked past that room. He didn't know who was behind that door. Could be a threat to kill him. That is true. I don't know why he didn't go in there." The only thing I was thinking of is maybe he didn't notice that there was a room there. I know that's weird, but maybe he was so focused on leaving, and maybe she had the door, if she had the door completely open and she was kind of sat back in the door, maybe he didn't see it and he went around. I don't know if you were here in the beginning of the video, but we did a 3D walkthrough. And it had a bunch of different information on that. And so it shows you actually what the house looks like inside if you turn the lights out. So exactly what Dylan would have been able to see, how she would have been able to see. It was pretty good. It's a pretty good 3D animation. So if you guys want to catch that on the replay, you can. Hi, Elizabeth. I'm trying to see what else I missed. Rage tunnel vision could have been. I think so. I think that he was just ready to get out of there. I think he had done what he came to do, I guess. This is still a weird case. I mean, this is just a really very weird case. The visual snow could have had something to do with it. That definitely could have. I know a lot of people were talking about how that could be a possibility. I was going to show you actually the snippet of Dylan, or I'm not Dylan, sorry, Ethan's mom. Let me see here. I don't want to play too much, but because that's what they were talking about in the end of the story. And I haven't heard her talk yet. But Ethan's mom spoke out since the arrest, so I thought we could watch that. Dr. Lipshin said he doesn't believe that Dylan was a target. I don't think that Dylan was either. That's what I was going to say, Crime Sleuth. And she said, I think he only killed Xana and Ethan because Xana encountered him as he was about to leave, my opinion. That's what I'm thinking, too. I'm thinking maybe she was bringing the food from her bedroom to the kitchen, like whatever was left, the empty bag, and maybe was dropping it off. And then when she came back around, or when she was, I don't know. I think she got to the kitchen and dropped the bag off because there's no blood on the bag to where it looks like he would have touched the bag and put it there himself, if that makes sense. Because, I mean, at that point, he would have had to have blood on his hands. Unless he went to the third floor, he did what he did. He went into that third floor bathroom, washed up, came down the stairs. But you would think that Dylan would say that she heard water running or something. But you never know. You think he was spooked? And I thought in the beginning that Ethan was first. My whole heart was like, he went in and he went after Ethan first because he's the man. And, I assumed that he wanted to, do that. But now that we're learning more things, it's like, maybe not. So the dog barking caused him to leave in a hurry. That could be it too. Yeah, she was taking the food to the kitchen. He saw her. Yeah. She ran and he followed. Yeah. And then she could have even been like, to the bedroom and said, I think someone's in here. Something along those lines. She may have just seen even like a glimpse of him or something coming down the stairs, or she might have dropped the food off and been coming back around the corner. You never know. See, I don't know. That one, did DoorDash drop off the food on the porch or hand it to Xana? I think they dropped it off on the porch, but I don't know. I know when I get DoorDash, they'll drop that crap off right at the front door. Like, I have a door. So to get into my building, there's a door, and then you get into the building, and then there's my door. I've had DoorDash drop it off outside at the front door. Like, if they buzz and I don't answer if I can't get because our door, sometimes it won't it's just funky, it's an older place. So you buzz them in, sometimes the door will stick. So if it sticks and they can't get in, they'll just drop it there. But they normally will take a picture of the food. That's just a reassurance for them, saying that hey, we dropped it off. We didn't steal the food. Yeah, DoorDash does take a picture of your delivery. Yeah, they do that more for themselves, showing yeah, we dropped the food off. It wasn't tainted with at McDonald's and stuff, they put the stickers, or even the picture we saw had, I actually took that off the screen. I should have kept that up. I knew I should have kept that up. Let me see. Because it would probably, I can show you on the bag. Let me see. So there's the bag. See how it has the sticker there? That's where they just keep it to where the food doesn't get, cold, and that it's not tainted with that. So they started doing that during COVID. So, okay, I don't know. Crime Sleuth said, I totally believe he made that order to distract him. I totally believe he made that order to distract from him coming in the back. Read PCA carefully. Read DoorDash says she redacted it. Says, or doesn't say she ordered it or received it. Doesn't say she ordered it. That is true. It does say she received it. I think it actually says, I think this is actually it from right here, the affidavit. I'll read it. It says, DM and BF both made statements during interviews that indicated the occupants of King Road residence were home by 2 a.m. and asleep or at least in their rooms by approximately 4 a.m. This is with the exception of Kernodle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. Law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. This crime scene photo shows a DoorDash order near the kitchen sink with Xana's name, but it may not be the actual order she received the night of the events. To me, it looks like, is this a milkshake? That's what it looks like to me. I don't know, guys. I don't know if that looks really bad, like really old, or if it's just like my sight. Yeah, the police will definitely know because they're going to check her phone. But I'm wondering why they didn't. The Jack in the Box is about a half mile from Bryan's apartment. They could have met at that Jack in the Box. I mean, not like met, but they could have been seen there. But he doesn't seem like a Jack in the Box kind of guy to me. I mean, it's meat. I mean, what is he going to eat there? French fries? That have been cooked in the same thing as meat's been cooked in? And hell no, he won't. I don't think he'll do that. Why not put plastic on the seats and floor and gear everything? Yeah. Possibly a gifted order, maybe. Oh, I don't know. Can you do that? Can you gift an order? So, someone said that Psychic had something to say. Oh, Psychic Medium last night on TikTok says surviving roommate was involved, supposedly Kaylee. Yeah, no, if that's the same girl that we've been talking, is that Ashley's in the books of life? Ashley is God, because she's the girl that's getting sued right now for misinformation. There's a TikTok user that is getting sued right now by a professor at the University of Idaho because she decided to spread a lot. Can't even say that enough. A lot of misinformation about a professor. I mean, it was so ridiculous. It was to the point she was saying that Kaylee was in love with this professor, and then she broke up with her or something, and then the Jack Decor and the professor were in cahoots to hurt Kaylee. I don't know. We watched it on TikTok. She's not right. And if you're going to be a tarot card reader, have some tarot cards. You gotta have the tarot cards. If that's what your deal is, if that's your, hook, line, and sinker. Yeah, I don't know why I don't understand that either. Dr. Lipson said, what I don't understand is why they knew about Zena's 4 a.m. order, yet they still have us at 3 to 4 a.m. timeline. Until the PCA was released. They didn't tell us about the car. So the car was supposed to be a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai White Elantra. That's what everyone was looking for damn near a month. Well, then the officers knew, like back in November, that this was actually closer to a 2013 to 2016 maybe Hyundai Elantra. So that's when they extended their window to look for 2011 to 2016. But they never relayed that to us, the public. They still let the public think that we were still looking for that 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. So, oh, look at that. Hyundai. I got that on my mind. It says, newbie here. Hi, everyone. YouTube suggested I watch. I'll have a lot. I have been watching this since day one, like all of you have. Oh, good. Get off of TikTok. I am on TikTok not really. I'm on there a little bit, but I do have a TikTok for this channel. I was going to see if I can find my name. There it is. And then I do have a Twitter too, at Titanium_built. Also, if you're just now joining us, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We are going over the Idaho Four murders that happened on November 13th. And we're going to listen to Dylan's, I didn't realize this was playing. Dylan's mom made a statement. She came forward and says, so up here it just says, mother of Ethan Chapin shares update on family 2 months after losing son. A scholarship in Ethan's name has already raised more than $100,000. Wow, that's a lot of money. That's really awesome. Yeah, so Tyler said if he had stalked long enough to know all the residents of the house, he may have respected Dylan for some reason. Also, she may not fit the description of the type he despised. I'm going to grab my drink real quick, guys. Okay. No, so DM was not on the bottom floor. She was on the second floor. She moved up to the second floor from the bottom floor. I think it was after that roommate didn't like move in. And we don't know 100%. Yeah, we don't know 100% if that was if Zaina ordered the Jack in the Box or if the Jack in the Box was even ordered that night. It could have been ordered the night before. I mean, you guys saw all those solo cups and everything, right? I mean, they weren't the cleanliness. They didn't clean a lot, they weren't the cleanliness of a bunch, but they're college students. So, So down here it says, Moscow, Idaho, Ethan Chapin's mom says the family is still trying to process their new normal. In a Facebook post, Stacy Chapin says they spend no time being angry, adding it's energy not well spent, and it still wouldn't change the outcome. During the vigil on campus, Ethan's mom told everyone that they were eternally grateful for the time they spent with him. That's the most important message we have for you and your families, is to make sure you spend as much time as possible with them, because time is precious and it's something you cannot get back. Chapin and his twin brother and sister were inseparable. This week, they returned to campus without him. Chapin's mom says anything he had is now frozen with the defense. For them, that includes 2 cars, his personal belongings, and a nice set of golf clubs. So those were Ethan's golf clubs that they took out of the house that day. And that extra car there wasn't one of the other roommates. It was maybe Ethan's extra car. No, maybe not. Maybe it was one of the other roommates, but he has 2 cars, I guess. I didn't know that. Hello, Kimberly. Welcome. Welcome. So, yeah, I didn't know that. So there's always little things that you find out when they do interviews. Because do you guys remember them taking the golf clubs out? I was wondering, what girl golfs in that house like that? Like to have a set of golf clubs? Because golf clubs are pretty expensive. You got to kind of want to be like an avid golfer to, buy them. But it says Chapin's mom went on to say the support from the university, Moscow PD, and Idaho State Police has been profound, and they are eternally grateful for all the cards and messages they've received from around the country, too many to reply to. The tulip farm Ethan worked at is growing. I don't know if you guys knew this, but yeah, the tulip farm Ethan worked at growing up is working on a way to honor him, selling a tulip bulb mixed called Ethan's Smile. Proceeds will support a memorial garden and scholarship. So the tulip that they are actually making, they're making Ethan his own tulip. They're mixing a yellow tulip with a white tulip. Yellow for like the vandals and for like his school, and then white for like purity. And they're making it into a tulip for him, which I thought I cried. The Sigma Chi Foundation created a scholarship in Ethan's name to honor his memory. So far, nearly $114,000 has been raised. The scholarship will be presented each year to an undergraduate member of the Gamma Eta chapter. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
At this point, I'd say just a few people waiting in line now to get into the courthouse this morning. Not quite as much as we saw for that first appearance, but we.
Okay, let me just go back in. And I'll play the video for you guys now. You saw the tulip farm too, Mel? I think we saw it on one of the episodes we were airing, Dateline, 48 Hours, one of those, 2020.
The family of Ethan Chapin, one of the 4 students murdered, says they still have not been able to get the rest of his belongings due to a court order preserving the crime scene on King Road. Graham 2's Kyle Simchuk has more on what the family is saying tonight. Kyle?
Well, Ethan's mom, Stacy, put out a long post on Facebook updating everyone on how the family is doing nearly 2 months after the murders. A scholarship in Ethan's name has already raised more than $100,000. Ethan Chapin's mom says the family is still trying to process their new normal. However, she says nothing has changed. In a Facebook post, Stacy Chapin says they spend no time being angry, adding it's energy not well spent and it wouldn't change the outcome. During the vigil on campus, Ethan's mom told everyone they were eternally grateful for the time they spent with him.
That's the most important message that we have for you and your families, is to make sure that you spend as much time as possible with those people, because time is precious and it's something you can't get back.
Chapin and his twin brother and sister were inseparable, and this week they returned to campus without him. Chapin's mom says anything he had is now frozen with the defense. For them, that includes 2 cars, his personal belongings, and a nice set of golf clubs. Chapin's mom went on to say the support from the university, Moscow PD, and Idaho State Police has been profound, and they are eternally grateful for all the cards and messages they've received from around the country, too many to reply to. The tulip farm Chapin worked at growing up is working on a way to honor him, selling a tulip bulb mix called Ethan's Smile. Proceeds will support a memorial garden and a scholarship. The Sigma Chi Foundation created a scholarship in Ethan's name to honor his memory. So far, nearly $114,000 have been raised. The scholarship will be presented each year to an undergraduate member of the Gamma Eta chapter. Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
Wild card weekend is here.
Oops.
Matt and I making picks for all of the Saturday.
I was going to see if there's Ickamil's daughter getting a haircut. I didn't know if you guys wanted to watch this, but I was going to show you guys this report really quick. Hold on, sorry. Let me see if I can find it now. But if you're just now joining us, welcome to the channel. Welcome to my live. I had a video I was going to show you guys. Now I don't know where it was. I think it was. Okay, yeah. So I was going to show you just a couple more videos before we go that I thought were kind of interesting. I didn't know if you guys had gotten a chance to see these or not. Oh, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you guys could like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm not even sure where we're at yet right now with likes and all that. I usually try to keep an eye on it. Oh, yeah, we could do better than that. We got 487 likes. We have 1,400 people in chat. I think we could do better than that, guys. Also, if you would like to subscribe to the channel, we'd love to have you. We do talk true crime every day here at 10:15 a.m. I do timeline videos as well for each case. That way, everyone kind of knows what's going on. That way, when we go live, you're not stuck and not knowing what's going on. Also, if you would like to, go in the chat, it is on subscriber only mode. That's only for like bots and stuff like that. So I know the subs are adding up. We are doing good today. I'll show you the tab. So we already surpassed our 5,000 subscriber mark. So we are doing a giveaway. I'm going to post in the community tab. I'll let you know exactly what video, and I will show you what, I'll show you how to enter the contest. It's going to be like a hashtag kind of giveaway. You'll do hashtag giveaway on one of the videos. Let me actually just tell you about it really quick, because I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget to tell you guys. So we're going to do a cash giveaway once we hit the 5,000, which we hit 5,000 subscribers today. So thank you guys so much. I really genuinely appreciate it so much. I'm going to put a post on the community tab, so you'll know, you'll comment hashtag giveaway, and then you'll just like the video. That will get you entered, and then the giveaway, we will do that on Saturday. So that way you guys all have time to enter and everything, and I will make the short video sometime this week. I'll probably make it today, actually. Let me just write that down, because sometimes your girl forgets. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this. I just have a couple videos to show you. And then let me know what you think about this whole Papa Roach, whatever, this little thing that he's doing. I haven't really looked into it too much. We did look at a little bit of he has like thousands of writings. So we went through like 4 or 5 of them. We didn't go through a whole lot. So just let me know what you guys think about this.
The New York Times obtaining chilling posts, it says, are from the Idaho murder suspect, Bryan Kohberger, as a teenager. Times sharing screen grabs of the post without front, in which Kohberger reportedly says he feels no emotion, little remorse. One says, quote, "As I hug my family, I look into their faces. I see nothing. It is like I am looking at a video game. Out front now, Nicholas Bogle-Burrows, the reporter who broke this story. And Nick, I know that you identified and have now read through hundreds of messages from about a decade of time that you say were written by Kohberger. So this would go from the time he was a teenager all the way until now. Tell me more about what stood out to you in these posts.
Yeah, so it begins with these posts on a forum website when he's about 16 years old. And he's talking about feeling a range of mental health conditions or problems with his life. He talks about not being able to feel emotions, feeling like he's detached from the world. And as you mentioned, that when he hugs his own family, he sees nothing. He also described looking at his life and going through the motions like it's a video game. And he's really hard on himself, saying he feels worthless, that he's a jerk to people in his life and doesn't feel bad about it afterwards. He also talks particularly about his.
Okay, so now we got to talk about it. So Papa Rogers' his name. You know, someone's gonna have to clip that and make fun of me. I said Papa Roach because that's what I was thinking. I was thinking of, that's who I think of. I think of that the band. So where did he get that name? Does anybody know where the Papa Roger name came from? Because, I mean, someone has to know that. If this dude right here, this guy in the button-up shirt, if he found, I forget what the website was, Tapatalk? I haven't even heard of that website before. If this guy went all the way back to these Tapatalk accounts and somehow found him from 2011, then you got way too much time on your hands. It's again, is that what it is? The Papa Roger? Rogers, what's the significance? I don't know. That's what I'm wondering. Yeah, so it's supposed to be an online name that he supposedly used. Yeah. So let's see here. I'll go ahead and start playing it again.
His dad, saying he treats his dad like dirt, even though he thinks of him as a good guy. And this is all back when he's in about high school and his later teen years. And what we know about his life after that is that he ends up becoming addicted to heroin around the time that he graduated high school in 2013, and that he's in and out of rehab. But then what's kind of interesting is after that, it seems like his life turns around somewhat. He goes to community college and starts studying psychology and starts messaging other friends about saying he's interested in studying the minds of criminals. It seems like he's found a passion of some kind in psychology and criminology.
Wow.
And then he ends up going, of course, as we know, to across the country from Pennsylvania, where he grew up, to Washington State last summer, and starts a PhD program in criminology there.
So it's amazing to see this, and you've had a chance to read all through this, which has to be difficult. You say that one of his friends told you that Kohberger suffered from a neurological condition called visual snow, where people basically, as you describe it, see scattered dots, like sort of static on a television to people of a certain age. One of the posts you shared with us says, and I quote what you shared with us, "It's as if the ringing in my ears and the fuzz in my vision is simply all the demons in my head mocking me." What else do you know about the context there?
Yeah, the visual snow is a really little understood condition. It's like you said, it's static in your vision, like an old television, and there's really the cause is still not fully clear, but it really can be debilitating for some people. I want to be clear, it's not a sign of mental illness, and it's not something that anyone has said could explain these heinous killings. But it's something that he complained a lot about as a teenager, both to friends and on these online posts. And that was coupled with his complaints about life in general.
All right. Well, Nick, thank you very much. I appreciate your sharing your reporting with us in some of those posts, as disturbing as they are, as people try to understand this. Thank you. And on the back of Nick's reporting, let's now bring in Jim Fallon. He's a neuroscientist and professor of psychiatry and human behavior at UC Irvine. So, Jim, you hear Nick, the New York Times reporter, talking about Kohberger suffering from a condition called visual snow. And the Times says he referenced this with the initials VS in an online post that says, when I get home, I am mean to my family. This started when VS did. I felt no emotion. Is there anything you can tell us about this visual snow condition?
Well, the visual snow is often associated with migraine. And it's thought to be generated by hyperstimulated neurons, the base of the temporal lobe. That's where a lot of visual processing occurs. And so, yeah, it's debilitating and almost nothing is known about it. But it is a syndrome that, you never hear about it being associated with murder or anything like that. Although if you read the rest of his posts, and it seems clear that he's got a depersonalization syndrome, which is a type of dissociative disorder where you feel separated from yourself.
And is that when you're talking about, as Nick was just saying, sort of when he looks at the faces of his family members, he just says he feels nothing. That's what you're referring to?
Well, yes. You have on the top of your head right here in this area called parietal cortex, you have a GPS system, but what it does is it puts together your whole world. It tells you where your eyes are, relationship to your head, relationship to the world, and then it adds on emotion to that. And all of that apparatus in him seems to be damaged. And so he doesn't even connect with himself. So he doesn't even have self-empathy, which is extraordinary, right? And this lack of empathy toward others and himself, you often see it in psychopaths. I'm not saying he's a psychopath, but it's such a curious combination of things. But he was a heroin addict, and the heroin can trigger this dissociation, this depersonalization syndrome. It's like you're living in a dream where you're watching yourself. You can see this in schizophrenia and schizoaffective disorder, different psychiatric disorders where people feel separated from themselves. You see it in people who take hallucinogens.
Yes.
Where they tried, and so you see it in dream states. We've measured all sorts of dream states where you see this. And so anybody who's had these strange dreams where they're hanging over themselves or in anesthesia. And so many people have experienced this, but not all the time. They don't feel that it's occurring 100% of the time. In his case, it seems that he's living this all the time, like he's in a dream state, in a very disturbing dream state.
Well, Jim, thank you very much.
He knows all the words. He studied this.
Right. That I think is the most bizarre part about it, right? Is that he's able to make that connection and able to study it all as well and choose that entire path of learning. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time, Jim.
Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to show you that one there. Shoot, I'm trying to get back into the comment section there. If you're just now joining us, thank you so much for joining me today on our live. We have a good chat going, so if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can go ahead and chat with us. It's just on subscriber only mode right now, just so that there's no bots, things like that, because it's just me up here. Also, we just hit our 5,000 subscribers, so we will be doing a giveaway soon. So make sure you look in the community tabs and keep a lookout for that and the video that I'll be posting. And then we'll play this one here. Also, I wanted to go over I'm going to go ahead and shut the poll down that we did. So the poll that we did was, I said, do you think Bryan has committed more crimes? 71% of you guys think yes, he has. I think he has too. 29% said no. I don't think that he's done anything like this, but I think that he's done something. Whether it's like peeping Tom kind of situation or theft, or like something small that he would steal, or maybe something to do with like computer crimes, like hacking or something along those lines. But I do believe he's done something in his past other than just the drugs. Okay, I'll turn this down so it doesn't blast your ears. Also, if you could just like the video, that would be so great. We have like a lot of people in here, 1,400. If you guys could all just like the video, I'll wait a second, let you do that. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Oh, and welcome, Susan, for becoming a new Titan. Welcome to the Titan crew.
Today, we're getting new and disturbing insights into the mental state of Bryan Kohberger, the PhD criminology student accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students. The New York Times has uncovered online posts from his past that paint a picture of an isolated and depressed teenager. In one post, Kohberger writes, "I can say and do whatever I want with little remorse." And in another, "As I hug my family, I look into their faces. I see nothing. It is like I am looking at a video game." Kohberger is currently being held on 4 counts of first-degree murder and the fatal stabbings of Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, Zaina Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. Joining us now is CNN Chief Law Enforcement Analyst John Miller and retired FBI profiler Kathy Canning-Mello. She's also an instructor of criminology at the University of North Carolina at Wilmington. Kathy, let me start with you first. How typical is it to learn that a suspected killer viewed their own life as it were a video game without emotion? I mean, when you hear about something like that, some of this starts to make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I find these texts really fascinating, and they give us some really, I think, important insights as to what Bryan Kohberger was feeling during his teen years, where he was experiencing a dark period, right? We have him addicted to heroin at the time. He's talking about suicidal ideation. He's talking about this lack of emotion that certainly we see evidenced at the crime scene.
And John, how do you think all of these details will impact the case as investigators try to determine a motive?
Well, motive has been still the burning question here because there's still no indication that he knew any of the victims, and it is such a personal and hateful crime. And yet, you know, as Kathy could underscore, every offender in the serial killer or mass murderer field is going to be highly individualized. Each one is different. That's a given. And yet there are common traits that run across these offenders. And one of them, and he kind of reads us through this in these emails, is an inability to feel sympathy, no relationship with empathy, an inability to feel guilt or remorse, which of course is the combination, the emotional cocktail that allows them to do the things they do and then to be able to repeat those acts again if they're not stopped.
And John, this detail in the Times that the suspect became fascinated with criminal psychology, said he hoped to provide counseling for high-profile criminals. I mean, that's a wrinkle that you don't see in many of these types of cases. At least that I'm aware of.
Jim,
yeah.
This is highly unusual, but it's also, in this case, there are so many things that really beg to be dug into more. If you look at the posting he did as part of his master's project, asking criminals to come in and be interviewed with him as the coordinator about the psychological traits of decision-making during their crimes. What were you thinking when you did this violent act? How did it make you feel? What was your plan? What, if anything, did you leave behind? On one hand, you could say that was a study, although the structure is very non-academic. On the other hand, you could say that this was, as Mary Ellen O'Toole posited last night, this was an act of voyeurism, meaning these interviews would allow him to immerse himself in feelings that he was having by experiencing them through others.
That is disturbing. And Kathy, the New York Times says that one of Kohberger's friends told them, or told this individual, he suffered from a neurological condition called visual snow, where people see scattered dots like static on a TV. And one of the posts says, and I'm reading here, it is as if the ringing in my ears and the fuzz in my vision is simply all the demons in my head mocking me. It doesn't sound good.
No, it sounds very disturbing, but we're going to have, I think, more deep interviews of people who know Bryan well in order to understand that condition that he had and any impact it might have had on his behavior at the time or later in life. And if the condition still exists, we don't know that. So I think it's going to be incumbent upon prosecutors, investigators, and it's great now that they have a few more months to do this, to conduct these long behaviorally oriented interviews. When I was in the BAU, we had an instrument called the General Assessment Questionnaire that had 100 questions that probed into areas of an individual's life, their personality traits, their hobbies, their attitudes, and it was meaning to get more insight about their behaviors, because we have some, casual contacts that said, he's charming. Well, do we really know he's charming? Does he lack empathy? Is he cunning and manipulative? Is he controlling? Does he harbor misogynistic feelings? All of these things are going to be evident in people that know him well. Certainly, we're getting some indications of his personality through his online persona, but we need to understand him offline as well, because at some point the prosecutor is going to have to paint a picture of this individual to a jury, and they're going to have to make some connections in their head. Is this the kind of person, number one, physically capable, but number two, psychologically, emotionally capable of committing such heinous crimes?
And John Kohberger has maintained his innocence through his lawyer. But I mean, given what we've discussed so far, there is a decent amount of evidence that police have, that investigators have in this case, do they not?
That is true. And I mean, we're going by the American standard, which is he is innocent until proven guilty. But when you look at the probable cause document, you can certainly see, based on the evidence that they've put forward, why he's charged in this case. And you can certainly see, and this is something that people really haven't focused on, is authorities in Pennsylvania that helped put together the arrest warrant and execute the arrest are now going very carefully backwards through Kohberger's entire history, from the time those emails were written as an adolescent right up to the time he left to go to the Washington, Idaho area, because there is an overarching theory that a multiple murder of 4 people in the middle of the night is probably not an offender's first act of violence. They're looking at unsolved cases. They're going to use that DNA to compare them to samples they have. They're looking for any stalking behavior. They're really kind of going backwards to say, was there something we missed here?
Right, especially when you go through some of the things that he said about himself. I mean, that is very eye-opening stuff. All right, John Miller, Kathy Canning-Mello, thanks for that discussion. Fascinating discussion.
All righty. So I feel like they're trying to put what he did. They're trying to give a reason for what he did, and there's no reason. There's no reasoning that I feel like it's not. Let me see. I thought I had a picture of them. Oh, I did, but I must have taken it off. That's okay. But I don't feel like if it was medication, if he was ever put on medication, which we have no proof of that. But if he was ever put on medication, let's say as a child or a teen, and it was prescribed by a doctor, I don't believe that would have made him later on in life go and murder 4 people. As long as it was regulated by a doctor and things like that, I feel like it wouldn't have that kind of effect on your brain. But I don't know. That's something I don't know. Also, I don't feel like that they don't have the insanity defense in Idaho. They haven't used it since I don't know, 1800s or early 1900s or something like that. But they don't have it. But even if they did have it, he's too well spoken and too articulate, and he knows way too much in court. When they're explaining things, to him, and the judge is asking him yes and no questions, he's able to give a response. The one thing he's not able to do is respectfully give a response and say, Your Honor. I feel like he should be saying that a little bit more, but he hasn't. Crime Sleuthin sent me some pictures of, these are like old pictures of him from whenever he was younger. And then at the end, I'll show you the new sign that we're getting for behind me, the TitaniumBuilt sign. So these are some pictures of him when he was younger. Let me see. I don't know if you guys have seen these or not. I think they just came out, she said. So It looks like it's on another creator's site here. I think it's Drunk Turkey Show. I think that's his name. I don't know. I've never watched his channel before. But this is like one of the pictures. Let me see. Where am I at? And then I don't know exactly who he's talking to. I'm just going to go through them like this. But yeah, these are just like pictures of him. Oh, the girl on the bottom was his friend. Oh, okay. I was wondering who that was. Yeah, he's still creepy looking. Princess Mega Elsa. I think that might be kind of the same picture. And then this one, I don't know what he's doing. Looks like I don't know whether they're outside or like at a restaurant or something. Yeah, I'm going to have to watch that episode. Someone sent it to me. I'll have to watch that. And get some info. Oh, they were at a party. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just saw like some drinks. It looked like food or something. Yeah, I feel like I don't know what his motive was, I guess, per se. It's crazy. It really is. Let me see. If you guys could, though, like the video, like the channel, subscribe to the channel. I am pretty much done for the day. I was going to show you the sign I'm getting. It's not the best picture, but you'll see it. But this is the sign that we picked. I'm excited to get it. It'll come, I think, like in 3 weeks or a month or something like that. But thank you so much. Yep, I appreciate that. Thank you, Cat Lady. You have like the longest name in YouTube history. Don't ever start a channel with that name, girl. Your sign will be really expensive. When we went to order my sign, and my boyfriend was like, "Oh my gosh," she's like, and I was like, "I'm sorry, I picked the longest name. Like, this isn't like a small channel name." So, yeah, I went with the white because I'm a plain kind of gal. Plus, I like to change stuff a lot. I don't know if you've noticed that, but if you go through my videos, I'm always in a new setup or something. But I'm loving this setup here. And then I got my chair back there that I do my pre-recordeds on. So my little couch chair. I need to get a new computer chair. This thing's like, it was brand new, and then I let my boyfriend use it for like a while. And he likes to like lay back in it. So now I feel like I'm going to fall. Am I going to paint the wall darker? I thought about it. Yeah, I think I'm going to. I was thinking about painting it like this kind of color, like the color that's behind there. Doing something like that. Or do some greenery that like sticks out of the wall. I love greenery and stuff like that. So, oh, that's so sweet. I love that. But yeah, so that's all I really have for you guys today. If I may come back on later, if anything happens, any big news. Tomorrow, I'm going to stream the Nany Grace podcast that she just put out. And I can't remember the name of it to tell you, but it's about the Idaho Four. And then on Wednesday, we are going to watch a Dr. Phil episode that came out since Bryan's been arrested and just kind of go over it. So we have some things to do this week. Fun stuff. But it was so nice meeting everybody. Thank you guys so much for, just being a part of the channel and just coming and spending a little bit of your morning or afternoon with me. I'm going to let my puppies out because they're probably ready to go outside by this point. But you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that stuff. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to new content. If you're on your cell phone, make sure that you have it toggled in your settings, the YouTube app toggled to allow notifications. That way you get notified. If not, just meet me back here at 10:15 every morning and check the channel for any updates. Also, I do have a Twitter, so I tweet out a lot of stuff like instantly. So if you want to follow me over there, my Twitter handle is @TitaniumBuilt. And you can follow me on TikTok @TitaniumBuilt. And I'll put the TitaniumBuilt underscore, the one for Twitter, on the banner right now. So if you guys want to get that, you can. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Love you so much, and I will see you guys in the next live. Bye, guys.